Hello everybody. So today we're going to work on Thaumcraft again. Well, again in my case. Just in today's case for everybody else. So this is actually my second time doing this, but I'm gonna do it right. And there we go. No items from the previous attempt, except my Thauminomicon, which I have already... I'm pretty sure I've shown you guys this already. But I spent a lot of effort undoing all the research I did because I recorded a 54 minute video, and yeah, for about 40 minutes or so my microphone was on mute, and that's where most of everything happened. So, okay, first thing we're going to need, paper, and then a little bit of wood. If you haven't got a Thauminomicon yet, you need to go through and you need to make one of these. This is a wand of the adept, or wand of the apprentice. You can create it at any work table that just has a 3x3, and you just need any type of shard, stick, and a golden nugget. Once you make the wand, you can use the wand on a bookshelf, and it will transform it in. It will transform it into the Thauminomicon. So, next thing we need is a little bit of paper, so I just snagged that. I just happen to know I have a little crafting table up here. So let's get some 18 pages of paper. We probably won't use all of that, but it's handy to have. So the benefit to you guys from getting to record this after I've already recorded it is quite a few of the materials that I would need are already up by my altar, so you'll avoid most of the trips down here into my storage room that the first video had. However, I am going to get a little bit of wood here. Dark wood, no. Canopy, I do got an awful lot of dark wood. I'm pretty sure this just becomes spruce, right? Yeah. So let's snag some stack of spruce. See if I have a spare crafting table around here. I usually do. Not always. Sometimes. I don't see one there. Nor there. There's a chance I would have put it underneath the wooden stuff. Nope. Alright, we'll just make a crafting table with us. Actually, we'll cheat. We'll make one of these guys. The apprentice work table requires a piece of table, and you place or you hit a wand with it. And it's kind of the same way that you create the Thauminomicon. So, this is my little Thaumcrafty area. I'm sure you guys have peeked it over a couple times or so. And, crafting table. Nice. So let's just put that back there, because we're going to need it for the first steps of this anyways. So, what we're going to build is the research table. And that actually requires two of these types of tables. These are Thaumcraft tables, and you just place them end to end. So you get a little 2x. And what's the other thing we need? Excuse me. Table, some assembly required. We put that into place. Research table. There we go. We need the little scribing tools. And scribing tools. There we go. So this takes an ink sac, a feather, and a glass bottle. And I do think that we will have to go back down to the other location for. I'm going to snag my wand. Handy to have that. Alright. So it's mostly the glass bottle that we need. I'm pretty sure I have one or two extras from when I was trying to do stuff with water earlier. Yep, 3 extras. And... no! Evil lag! Evil lag! Whew. And you know what? Those are kind of handy to have for Thaumcraft. I'm going to steal a stack of them. And I'll steal some ender pearls and maybe a couple slime balls. I'm not sure. couple of those. There we go. This might just help with a couple of the recipes early on. Ew. No. I'm pretty sure I have what I need up here already, just from the last attempts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you guys through basic Thaumcraft. It's we're going to cover this section of the book. We're going to get the ring around the outside, which will unlock these. They're not research. They're more of, if you have all three of these, then this one lights up. If you have all three of those, this one lights up, sort of deal. And then we can get to, I believe it's like the basic Thaumic field research. This is considered Tier 1 Thaumcraft, and stuff down here is considered Tier 2. I believe stuff after here is considered Tier 3. So that's the way of it down there. Tier 1 Thaumcraft research also unlocks Thaumic bees, which is what this little offshoot is off to the side here. But so this is what we're going to focus on today, and the things I'm really interested in are the boots. I have a Haste 3 book that I got the other day, just enchanting 30 levels. It's awesome. And so I want a pair of boots to put that on. Let me see. So we need to make this. There we go. And then you just use this on the table, and it turns it into a research table. This is where you're going to be spending quite a bit of time. This is where the paper goes. It's in the bottom slot. This will just feed into the research slot. The other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that this is on thorough. Cursory is really a waste of time and a waste of resources. It gives you a good chance to keep the item that you're researching, but it minimalizes how much research you would get out of it exceptionally, exponentially. So it's just never been something that's been a good idea. Alright, just going to stack off these items in here so we have them on hand. And we're going to pick the first thing that we're going to do is going to be this. I just happen to know what these all are, and I highly, highly, highly recommend getting a good website to figure out these recipes for you. If you like guess and check, then by all means go for it. I just do not like it. So I'm going to put up this address here. This is a list of all of the research for Thaumcraft that is currently known. It's a little outdated. It does not have everything into it, but it's fairly well kept up to date. It's just the Feed the Beast wiki site, and it has all the research in it. So the very first thing we're looking at is enchanted fabric. You'll find it underneath the Tier 1 artificing section. And what it requires are 3 elements. One that looks like a wand, one that looks like a roll of cloth, and one that looks like an anvil. What you get... what can make anvils? Oh, I suppose I should show you. See these little overlays that I'm getting? These are what I'm talking about. There's the cloth one. So we're actually going to want that one. And we're going to then go over, and we're going to be looking for the anvil one. Which I'm pretty sure I do not have anything of the anvil in here, because I know exactly what to do to make it. This will actually come from these. See the little anvil in the top left there? So we're going to make... yeah, we'll do 10 of these, because I think we need the anvil quite often, and it is fairly handy. So the items that you want to research go in the corner up here. And the last thing we wanted was the magic one, which, how could I have not brought any magic wax? Alright guys, we need one more trip. Magic wax, which is why I'm trying to breed a very specific type of bee over here. I'll actually show you guys this. I was working on the bee episode, and it's just become too disjointed. But these bees... ooh, Valiant. Nope. Okay, we'll take a second to do a little bee stuff, just because... Valiant Enchanted, okay. Enchanted Valiant. Enchanted. Alright, so I'm trying to breed the supernatural breeze, which give us this otherworldly comb. And the otherworldly comb is very, 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 very useful in Thaumcraft, because it's one of the few items that has Pracantatio, which is that little magic wand icon. All on its own. See, it's got little 2 of them there, so it's very, very nice. Let's sort this, see if I have any more over in here, and I don't. That sucks. Alright, sorry for the little bit of upkeep here, but I'm actually trying to keep on top of my combs. They're filling up pretty fast. Alright, so we snagged a little bit of the magic wax. I don't have nearly as much on hand as I would like, but so this is a recipe. The ones that we're actually interested in are the Fabrico, the Panis, and the Pracantatio. This is what's going to combine to give us enchanted fabric. Now the problem here is that these are not unique to this recipe. At this point in time, because our tier is so low and so few things are unlocked, this does have like a 90% chance of being the recipe that we want. But with throwing in the Lignum and the Bestia, there is a slight possibility that when I click this research button here, which, you know, doesn't have any hover over, so it makes it seem a little odd, but when I click this, it's going to start the research. Gives us the, oh, and with one click, we actually have enough to just show that this is the one that we wanted. It's enchanted fabric. Normally you're going to see stuff like this for a little bit until you get enough of the research. Eventually it'll replace the name here with enchanted fabric so you can actually see what you're doing, and even this will translate over into English eventually. So because this is almost researched and these are not, I'm going to keep on hitting the button here, and there we go. Since Fabrico and Pracantatio are completely filled, if I left these in here, it would still consume them, but there's no chance of getting any more research for those items. All we need is the Panis, so I'm just going to leave the wool. Click it the one more time. Cool. That was actually a fairly easy research. And that's how we get our first item. So you just get this little scroll, you give it a right click, and it unlocks. And then we can see over in our Thauminomicon that it has been unsearched, research completed. It's now a solid light, and it's got one of the branches here lit up. Fire? Fire? Dear God. Okay, it's got one of the branches here lit up. So what we'll need to do to unlock the basic research here, to get to tier 2, is we'll need to complete these two and these three here. So we have the ring around here to light that up. The ring around here will light this up. The one linchpin is that you can't get this one. See how it's not flashing? It's not active? You actually can't research this one until this is highlighted. And the lines on here are really not a good indication of what requires what. But you can assume that if it's connected to one that's dark, and then connected to one that's light, that you'd probably need those before you can get the other ones. I do believe that this is one of the exceptions here. This is the thaumium. This is the ingot of most Thaumcraft items that you make the swords, the axes, and stuff like that with, that we've been picking up out of chests for a very, very long time. It's required to make this item, so I'm pretty sure if we get basic, what is this? Transmutation? Yeah, basic transmutation. Then we can unlock the thaumium, and then we can go do this one. I don't think we need this little doodad. This is one of the gadgets that we will get to, but I just want to see if this is the line that's clear. So we're going to go up to basic transmutation, and this is one of the funner ones to do, because this is how you can transmute silver, gold, and stuff like that. But for basic transmutation, we need 3 elements, which is Permutatio, Metallum, and Charos. And I will show you these. The Charos one is that little golden chalice on the left-hand side there. And I found out you can get it from Lapis, which is something I have a ton of, by looking at this. This is a canvas bag, and every single thing on here is just either from the sticks or the canvas that are the string and such that you would make the canvas out of, except for that little golden thing, and it's actually not on this version of the bag. So that's what caught my attention. I'm like, okay, the only difference here is that I use lapis to turn this bag blue. And the elements that these items are made out of are actually a combination of the items that were created out of them, plus whatever they'll add into it. Like a good thing to show you is the crafting table is made out of wood. Wood by default just has the wood element, the tree element. I don't remember its name off the top of my head. But when you put it into a new shape, it keeps the previous elements for the items that were made out of it, but it adds in the new element that this particular block, which is crafting, adds into the mix. So it's really kind of handy like that. But so we can snag some lapis, and that will get us the chalice, which is, I believe I said Carus, C-A-R-U-S. Sounds about right. The next one we need is metallum, which is that icon right there. Unfortunately, the only place you can really get it from is ingots. Ingots and metal objects in general. Fortunately for me, I have a ton of iron, so I've just brought up the stack of iron to do that with. The last thing we need is the transmute element, which is on the right-hand side of seeds. So flax seeds, I have a huge garden, like right there. Provides me all the elements for that particular one I could ever want. So same basic strategy. When you're going for a known recipe, which is why I actually recommend looking this stuff up online, putting in as many elements as possible to match the recipe that you want is actually a good way to guarantee that that's what you're going to be researching. For this particular thing that we're researching, the basic transmutation, we need metallum, we need permutatio, and Carus, so we have all three of them highlighted in here, and we'll get to some recipes where putting all the items in is not a good idea, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But this has a pretty good chance, unknown theory, pretty good chance of being what we want. Still unknown. Alright, basic transmutation. Now we know that we are actually researching the one we want. Since none of these are 100%, it's still good to leave all the items in there. And we'll just keep on hitting the button here. Okay. Metallum is all the way out. Don't need to consume any more ingots. Now, permutatio is all the way out, so no need to consume any more seeds, although, you know, seeds, they're not exactly all that hard to get. So just a couple more clicks. There we go. And that is how we got basic transmutation, which now shows up as solid in here. Now, the part of here that doesn't actually show up is that there are specific transmutation recipes, and this is something to note, is not all the recipes are shown, is we'll actually get transmutation recipes that will appear up here. This is where we'll get like silver, iron, tin, copper, and lead are the ones that are available, and we're actually going to try to avoid most of them, but I will show you one of them real quick just to kind of try and get it out of the way. So we don't need that. We will need this and this. Almost every single transmutation recipe will require permutatio and metallum. So I'm just going to click the button. We'll start a research. Tin transmutation. Okay, tin is one of the ones that actually requires a third element. I was kind of hoping we wouldn't get this one, but hey, that's the way it goes. So now that we got metallum all the way out, let's just get the transmutation all the way out, and what we'll need is a crystal-like, it's right on the end there. The one on the right-hand side is the element that we're looking for, but I really don't want to use those eyes. See if we can find anything else that might have it. Nope. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys another website. This is a little bit out of date, and it's quite long, so I'll expect you guys to want to pause the video here and write this down or click it somehow. Actually, I'll try and put these in the description. This goes to a list of a good list of items that you can find that are really good for a specific element or very cheap for a specific element. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to look up Veritas. Vitreus, V-I-T-R-E-U-S. The best one for this apparently is going to be glass. And so, since I don't actually have any of the glass on me, and I don't think I saw any in here. Nope. Alright, so let's just run down to my storage chest real quick, because I really don't want to use up my ender eyes. I know we can go and get a whole bunch more of them. We have the little ender farm. I've actually been working on improving it a little bit, giving them a bit more of a spawn area, so the bridge is a little bit longer. Nope, no, glass. Not in there anymore? There we go. So, let's just whip up a couple more of these, and we'll just take those 32 pieces with us. Up we go. I actually really like how this area is turning out. I'm trying to grow... Oh! Okay, apparently I did grow a tree here, but my evil lava must have burnt it down. Well, I'm just actually glad it didn't take any of the other trees with it. I'm trying to grow one more tree, as you can see, and maybe I'll find a way to contain that lava. We'll see. So, this is the last element that we'll need, so we'll just do a quick little click, click, click. You can hear all of them in the background. Come on, that's that last one. There we go. So I'm going to try and avoid the rest of the transmutation recipes. Unfortunately, I don't think I actually will. Yay. So I don't think I'll actually will, but because they are such a simple and basic recipe here. But the next one we're going to move on to try to see if we can unlock this one before that is going to be Thaumium. And Thaumium, fortunately for us, is almost a basic transmutation recipe. So we need our little shiftiness, we need our little metallum, but this is where the ender eyes come into play. Is the third element for the Thaumium is Pracantatio, and this is a good place to get it from. Unfortunately, this has knocked off our transmutation, so this is one of the areas where having all the elements in here isn't going to help us. The flax seeds one, what we really want is the two arrows going back and forth. That's the transmutation part of it. But what is showing up is the herba, the leaf part of it. And I think there's actually like 8 or 9 essences out of 48. About a fourth of them are all plant-based, and very, very few of them are actually used. So what I'm going to do for now is just put the ender eyes and the iron ingots, because that'll give us these two. These are the two highest in there. And perfect. Look at that. Just like that. After one click... still not enough room for that though, so we're just going to keep on here. And there we go. Don't need any more magic. The Pracantatio is 100% complete. Let's throw in our seeds. Now the metallum is complete. And there we go. Discovery Thaumium. Ta-da! So you have found a way to infuse and transform base metals with raw magical energy. You are hopeful that the resultant material will prove stronger and more resilient than its components. Ta-ding! And it worked. It unlocked the building blocks over here, which is... Oh, I hear you, fire. Yeah. Stop that. You can't actually burn this. It doesn't burn. Alright, we will work on our layout a little bit to try and resolve the suddenly bursting into flame issue that we seem to be running into. So I'm actually going to move right along, and we're going to go straight to researching these, which on the wiki that I linked you guys to earlier is magical building blocks. I've always called them other things, but this will work. So we need to go back to these. This is one of the materials that we'll need along with this, so this is a really good item towards this, as we get 2 of the essences are exactly what we need. The metallum is another good one because we're going to need this, and unfortunately if I add in the magic wax, no, that'll work out perfectly. And now we need just one final element, because this is actually a 5-element recipe, Saxum. So this is actually going to work out really nicely for us. Maybe. Saxum is that rock on the right-hand side there. So that's what I need, but with the explosion one there being first, I'm worried that we're going to get that before we get anything else. So this might end up just being just like the flax again. Alright, we'll take this. Let's see how it goes. Oh, perfect. Look at that. It did take the Saxum first. Nice. So we're going to hit the button. Magical building blocks. Yeah, this had like no chance of being anything else because that's an exact match for what we needed. And I'm just going to click that one more time. There we go. Metallum's all the way out. Now we got Fabrico, but we still need the lumber. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to replace it with the tree, because this will save our Fabrico elements from the more complicated item and use the simpler, more basic one. Oh, we got magic. We finished off the tree. All we need is a click or two of the rock. And there we go. Magical building blocks. These are actually a really neat thing, so we're going to look at these in the recipes for a second here. So this is how you make a arcane work table. The arcane work tables are what we've reserved the spots in our design for right here. They're the little 2x2 things. And they're the ones that combine elements to craft some more of the neater items. So what you do to make the arcane stone is you first need to start off with thaumium. So we'll go to here. Thaumium just requires a crucible, and it requires any type of metallum along with the pracantatio and 5 vis to make each one of these. So it's pretty much change an ingot of something along with a little bit of magic, so probably like 2 magic wax I think would give us the 4. Along with draining 5 vis from the surrounding environment will give us a thaumium ingot. So let's go backwards. So we'll need 4 to make each set of these blocks. So we're going to have to multiply this recipe by 4. So that means 32 metallum and 16 pracantatio along with 20 vis will give us enough thaumium ingots to create these blocks. After we create the blocks, these are all things that you can make on the arcane table to create new blocks. This is the arcane wood. Very handy to have. And this is the table, or this is the page that explains how to create the infusion altar here. So we get the nice little stone bricks, the 4x4. You hit it with a wand and it will change it into the altar. And if you read all of the recipes here, it does give you quite a bit of good information on how to use the table, how to put it together. Anywho, we still got a little bit of research to do. So we've found 1, 2, 3, 4 of the required items. We just need these 3. And I'm going to start out with this one next. This is actually called nitor or alumentium. Nitor. Nitor is the one that gives you the lights. So that's this one. Alumentium is this one, which does weird things. We'll get to there in a second. So nitor first. We're going to go with... Let's empty out our inventory here a little bit so we get down to a little bit more of the basics. There we go. So for nitor, we're going to want to use a light, which you can get out of torches. Makes it very, very handy. The other thing we need is fire, a little flame thing, which is ignis, and the potentia. And I think... Nope, that's not potentia. There's the fire. There we go. Coal. Coal comes to the rescue here. So the flame on the left-hand side, that's ignis, and the one in the center is potentia. So if we add that in there, that gives us 2. That gives us 3. We need this one, and this one. And hit the little research button. Perfect. Nitor. Right in one try. Not an overly complicated recipe, so it gave us the name immediately. Now what I would like to do is remove the coal because of the ignis is already completed, but I still need it for the potentia. So we're just going to keep clicking here. Burning through. There we go. Done with the coal. Now we just need another torch click. That gives us our nitor. So a glowing flame that seems to be fueled by magic itself. The number of uses for an ever-burning flame seem endless, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to produce much heat, though it could prove a steady source of light and energy. Pretty much as a steady source of light. I haven't seen these used for any sort of energy in any of the mods or anything like that as of yet. So the next one we want is alumentium, and as luck would have it, coal is still needed. We still need the flame and we still need the potentia, but the alumentium stuff is explosive, and cobblestone has the explosive element on it because it's been ripped apart. It's going to be the fractus part, so we'll put that right in there. The top 2 and the bottom one are what we're going after, and perfect once again. Just one click and it got us what we needed. Alright, done with the coal. A little bit of gravel. Alumentium. Substance throbs with fiery energy and is much more eager to release that energy at the slightest bump. It may be unstable, but it would probably make a good source of fuel. And I still don't think it does that either. So this actually finishes off this entire branch here, giving us our basic alchemy. This is just one of the requirements to move on to this part of the research, which will branch us out of Tier 1. So it's very, very nice. Oh, rain. Rain! I have to obligatory check. Make sure... Nope, look at that. It's even fake rain. They still see it as nice, normal daylight. Valiant, valiant. Alright, I will not get trapped into the bees. I will make an episode on bees. I decided to scrap the one I was working on because it was taking forever and holding up other things. But we will figure out a way to do it. Alright, so... next thing we need to research is one of the little tools. It's going to be the Thaumometer. And, there we go, close that. It's what we see down here in this bottom left-hand corner. It's actually a way for finding magical nodes and such, but more importantly it's a crafting recipe for Thaumcraft goggles down the road. The Thaumometer requires the little gears there. It also requires Pracantatio, which we'll get out of the magic wax. And it requires arcane knowledge, which you can get out of these books here, but I'm actually going to do something that will probably piss a whole bunch of people off. I have a ton of knowledge fragments. You only need 50 knowledge fragments to unlock all the hidden recipes in Thaumcraft as it currently stands, so that means I have 16 extra of these things. And I can get the knowledge element, which is called Cognito, out of these without having to do too much. So we'll add that in. There's our little knowledge element. There's our magic element. And we're going to hope it ignores the trees and goes with the machina. Machina? Whatever it's called. Mechanism, machine, and device research. Unknown theory. Thaumometer. Perfect. And now we can save those because these have so much research. Chances were it was going to jump out really quickly. Go up with the Pracantatio. Get that out of the way. And the buttons are some of the easiest way to get the mechanism element. So this is actually the last one we needed. This will unlock our basic research here. Let me get the official name of that one now that it is actually unlocked. We're going to go for this one next. This is Unified Thaumic Field Theory, and it's the gateway research into Tier 2. It will actually unlock the next powerful magic wand as well, so it is kind of handy. Unfortunately, it requires a lot of elements. One of which I'm not entirely sure where to get quite of yet. So we're going to need some grass, and I'll show you where all these elements go in a little bit. We're going to need our knowledge fragments still. We're going to need the Pracantatio, but we also need fire. So this is where I'm going to swap over to the blaze rods, because that gives us a little bit of both. Oh, slime balls. Yep, that gives us the little element on the end there that we need. And a pile of dirt. Yep. There we go. No! Lag! Oh god! No! Lag. There we go. So we are moving servers somewhat soon. Not quite soon enough for me, but... Anywho, aura. This is what we need from plants, and this is unbelievably easy to get. Take a couple of pieces of bone meal, toss it on the ground, grow all the grass, ferns, whatever happens to grow in that area and is green. It will give you this ability when you chop it down with a chainsaw or a pair of shears or the like. Very, 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 very handy. From the dirt, we need the solemn. From the knowledge fragment, clearly the cognito. And this is where we're going to see... Yeah, see, it pushes off the one I want it to have. But since we need these two, I'm actually going to take the grass out of there for now. Let's put these up here. Let's see if we can't use... unfortunately not. This is going to add in Impertio, and that's not what we need. What we need is a... the element is called Mutatio. And if I hover over here, it's the one on the far right-hand side. And believe it or not, the far left-hand side is also what we need for this Thaumic field, is the aqua. But none of those are showing up with a priority when I put that in there. For some reason it's picking the center one. Really annoying. They're all two. So we're going to start... That's not going to help. going to start with just these three, I guess. Unknown theory. It at least has one of the elements we're aware of. And okay, that's fully researched. We're going to get that out of there. Unified Thaumic field theory. We lucked out. Yay for us. That adds in one of the ones we want. Let's put this one in here. So there's the aura. Let's get that into the mix here. So fire, but we still need Pracantatio. There we go. We can get rid of the blaze rods. Let's add in our slime balls. So we're very close on the earth. We're very close on the aura. You can see that more elements have shown up. There's our water from the slime balls. Getting close. I'm going to probably need more slime balls. Done with the dirt. Aww. Yep, I'm going to need another slime ball or two. Alright, we can just blow through the grass real quick. That's a fairly easy element to regain. So I need a little bit more Mutatio. Let's get another stack of slime balls here. We can just finish that off real quick. Oh, did you see that? I actually clicked it once more than was needed, but it ate both of the slime balls. That is something to be aware of. You do really want to pay attention to when things are on the outer edge, so that you are not wasting your resources like I just did. So now here's the problem one. Tempest. Tempest is a new one. It is not on that list that I gave you earlier, but it requires time, moment, and season. So here's a little trick for people who have any eye. I'm going to think anything that has a time element to it will have the element that we're looking for. Now if I hold down shift over the NEI list, you won't get the hoverovers, but if it's a craftable item, you can get them out of this table here. And see on the far right hand side? That's the element that we're looking for. Let's see what this one looks like. Does not have it. Wow. So we have this. Let's see if we can just do anything else with redstone. Maybe get a little bit of timing in here. Nope. Nope. Looks like that might be the only one. I would gather that there are other things. Like, let me see. This is a fairly expensive one, I would imagine. Yeah, look at that. But it requires 4 gold, gives you a lot of other elements that you really don't want to chuck into this little mixture. So we're going to go with a repeater. And we'll just whip up a couple of these. I definitely have a lot of smoothstone and redstone available, so it's not going to be too big of a burden. But this will finish off the research and unlock us into Tier 2. Tier 2 is what we need to get to the boots that I want. They're part of that area. They're called the Boots of the Traveler. And let's get some smoothstone. There we go. Let's get some wood for making sticks out of. A little bit of spruce. We'll see if we have any... Oh yeah. We can just do that. 1, 2. Gather up some redstone. Those go like that. And that's 8 repeaters for us. I'm hoping that'll be enough of the recipe, but just in case, I'm going to snag some of these resources. And if you guys don't mind, just going to give a little poke here, a little poke there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Full enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Almost ready to make some ambrosia and swap over to that for food. But let's finish off our research. Okay, so the redstone repeaters will give us Tempest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, come on, 6. There we go. Only used up 5 of the repeaters. We got 6 clicks out of it, not too bad at all. You may be onto something here. For the moment, it lies just outside of your grasp, but you are beginning to see how the magical, elemental, and natural worlds all fit together. Knowledge like this could prove invaluable. Click. Yay! So this unlocks Thaumic bees. That's the bee research over here. Here's all the neat little wands that you can get. Somewhere around here, I believe, are where the boots of the traveler pop off. This is the golem research. These are handy little jars that are used for containing the essence. I believe those are little filters and such. So this pretty much unlocked all the really neat stuff that we can get out of here. As soon as we can start crafting the wands, we can start crafting the weapons. I want my Zephyr sword, but I really am looking for repair and unbreaking, so it makes effective use of the auras and such first. But what I am going to do, is we're going to look into getting the boots of the traveler. Is I would really like to finish off this episode with obtaining that particular little goodie. Alright, so Boots of the Traveler should now have all the prerequisites unlocked. It requires 5 elements, some of which we've seen before, others of which we have not. Let me just get to gathering the materials we will need, and we're going to start with these. Boats have 3 elements, and for the Boots of the Traveler I need the one on the right, which is like something about movement, but that's why it has a little picture of a guy zipping by, and the water. I'm assuming it's because the Boots of the Traveler make you swim really fast that it needs the water, but boats are a really good way to get a couple of those elements, so I'm just going to snag 5 of these real quick. We'll put the rest of the wood back to where we came from, and only put 1 in there. They don't stack. So if you did this, you would potentially consume all 3 boats and only get 1 tick of research as if you'd only had 1 boat in there. So you don't want to stack the elements or the items that you're researching. If they don't stack, do not put them in here repeatedly. It will end up just wasting them. But Modus, that's the water one, and then the movement one, and then Aqua is the water one. So we need those 2. Believe it or not, although I guess it makes sort of sense because we're running over the ground really fast. We need this one added in, the Solemn. Yay. Since these are armor, we're going to need this. On the very far end side there, we will see the element known as Tautamine. T-U-T-A something? T-U-T-A-M-E-N. And it's one of the really harder things to get. It pretty much only comes from armor. Since leather, however, also grants us armor, you can get it from there, but you'll see it's not a high enough number to mix with all of these elements in order to get me the boots. There is one other element, which is Volido, and I think that that's what gives us our zippiness. And Volido comes from bees. So, let's see if we can get it to show up. There we go, Volido. So I think every element on this table is something that we need. There's the Modus and the Aqua. There's the Solomon. Oh, we don't need Lignum. So Lignum, that means I can get rid of, no? Okay, 1 there. That to there. And then the boat gives me all the other ones. Okay, so this is a pretty good usage of these items. Going to start our research. Still an unknown theory. Let's stick another boat in there. And actually, I'm just going to research on this one right now until we get a little bit more still unknown. Boots of the Traveler. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. If you put enough research in there and like the, I forget where it shows it. There's actually a way to see how much the overall progress you have, but I guess I forgot where that interface is. But once you get to a certain point of the research, it will give you the name, it'll start showing you the other elements and such. But now that we've confirmed that this is indeed the one that we want, we're going through a lot of boats here. Wow, there was our entire boat stack. Okay, the other thing I'm going to do real quick, so I'm just going to grab a bunch of bees, is my chest over here is overflowing. But bees are great for Thaumcraft research. They give you access to some of the elements that you wouldn't normally otherwise get. But I've got stacks of cultivated drones at this point in time because I've been breeding them for so long. This is what, stack number 7 that's being started? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is stack number 8 that's being started. Let's just grab that and we'll take it and run. That looks weird. You know what it looks like is there's an oil thing over there, I think. So I think that was like the pillar of oil going down. Let's just yoke those bees. We need that Volito. It's a very cheap way to get it if you're doing bees, which is kind of very synergistic. You notice I didn't mind wasting a couple of extra there. Let's put the bees in there. Oh no, we're going to need the armor still. And let's see if I can't think of a way. Water would come from there. We'd also get it from here and just overall paper. But we're still going to need the modus. I want to say rubber is actually really good. Let me just see. That this would actually be a really good cheap way of getting modus, yeah, on the end there. So maybe we'll go snag a little bit of rubber. But I'm just going to use these boats up since I made them. Get us the aqua. Yep, there we go. Capped out the aqua area. And you know what? I can put these in here and have that research going at the same time. Oh, there we go. Don't need to use my, what is this, my 10th boat? And now we just finish this off. Come on. Burning through leather like there's no tomorrow. One more. There we go. Boots of the Traveler Discovery made. A good pair of boots is a boon to any traveler. A magical pair of boots is even better, allowing you to run faster, jump higher, and swim faster. Click. Bam. Right in the middle of nowhere. These boots were made for walking. So, here's what we'll need. First of all, this is a thing that must be created on an infusion altar. It also requires 100 viz. So I don't know if I've shown you guys my little wand yet, but this wand currently holds 50 viz. That is not going to cut it. So what we're going to need to do is make the infusion altar that's going to sit like right there, as well as right there. And we'll also need to upgrade our wand. If we come back up to the Unified Thaumic Field Theory, we'll see that this is how you can upgrade your wand. You get a Wand of the Adept, which holds more, but you need one of each kind of shard, and you'll also need the Infusion Altar, which is what we're going to have to create first. So we go back up one more step. Those are made out of our magical building blocks. So we'll need to do this recipe. Not too bad. We can do it at an arcane work table, because it will require the viz. And the arcane work tables are fairly easy to make. They're what you saw me destroy at the beginning that were sitting off in the corners here. So we'll just get the pieces required. Nope, nope, bad fire, bad fire. We get just a single table, and like quite a few things. Thank you, stupid bug. Like quite a few things in Thaumcraft, you make some sort of a base item like this. Like those are actually cauldrons. Then you right-click, and it changes it into the item that you desire. In this particular case, it makes crucibles over here. In here, it makes a little arcane work table. And this is a way to power your enchantments with viz. So, looking back at our Thauminomicon, we'll need to use 20 viz, that's not going to be a problem. Need to use smooth stone, brought some of that up with me, so we're good there. Smoothing stone. What we are going to need, however, is the what's it called? Thaumium. We need thaumium in the corners. And as you can see, I was able to do my little sorting thing. This works just like a normal crafting table, with the bonus of it being that it will hold on to what you gave it to. So it's like a combination between, or a midway between the crafting table and the projects table. So we're actually going to need our wand for a little bit, and we're going to need to make thaumium. Thaumium is a 1-to-1 conversion for ingots. So we're going to make 12 pieces. Now we'll just make 16. 16 pieces of thaumium. And for this, we're going to need a boat. Bucket, not a boat. Happen to have quite a few buckets down here. Some of them have lava in them. Some of them do not. That one has lava in it. What happened to all my buckets? I really, you know, this is where I go, you know, I have so much iron, it really doesn't matter, and you can convert them back and forth all you freaking want. Let's just grab 2 buckets. That'll be good enough for now. Going to come over here, grab ourselves some water. Up we go. That's still so disappointing. Tree gets burned down by lava. And this is how you use a crucible. It needs to have a little bit of a fire underneath it. I chose lava. Quite a few people put netherrack and such down there because it has a little better burning properties. But I don't like the constant crackle of fire around stuff that's not burning. So, you fill the crucible with water, and you give it a little bit of a moment, and you'll eventually see bubbles start coming up. There we go. That means it is now in active Thaumcraft mode, and it will start collecting elements for us. The element that we want it to collect most of all right now is going to be this. This is the metallum, and we need, I believe, 8 points of metallum for every single, 8 points of metallum for every piece of thaumium that we need. So it's pretty much you transfer one ingot type to another ingot type, or to the magical ingot type. And since we're looking to do all 16 at the same time, which won't work, will it? 16 times 5. Yep, that's way more than what I have on my wand. My wand only has 50. And the recipe requires 5 viz, so I would at most be able to do 10 in one go. Since I'm going to have to do 2 goes anyways, we'll just do 8. So this is going to give us 64. And I found this little trick for tossing stuff in. Works out nicely. At least I'm pretty sure that ended up in. Without the thaumium goggles, it's actually a little hard to tell. But so that's 8 times the metallum. So that'll work there. What we're going to need is 32 magic. And we get quite a bit of magic from these guys. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That will give us 32. Oops, damn it. That'll give us 32 Pracantatio. See, I didn't hear that swooshing noise from when I threw the ingots in. No, that's just lava drips. Hehehe. Yeah. But that should be it. See, it's all nice and calmed down now. So I'm going to just hit it with my wand. There we go. Perfect. It created us 8 thaumium ingots. Yay! Now we can come over here. See, our wand is slowly recharging. And we put our thaumium into the corners. And that's going to give us our 8 arcane stone. So it requires 20 viz. We already have 40. I'm just going to yoink out 1 set. I'm going to leave the rest of it in there for now. And we'll be able to build our altars just like this with this one recipe. They actually do make a pretty neat block overall. It looks pretty neat. You can use it for whatever you want. But just like everything else, you give it a right click and it changes it into the Thaumcraft version. So this is our infusion altar. And the infusion altar combines with the crucibles to give us the ability to infuse our items in the altars with these elements that come out of the crucibles. So we're actually getting a lot closer to where we wanted to be. Now the problem here, 29. Oh, there we go. Was it just not recharging? Yeah, in there. Okay. So I think we actually need 2 wands in order to upgrade our wand, because it requires 50 viz, and how am I supposed to have 50 viz going into the wand when the wand's in the crafting table? Yep, see? I don't know either. So I'm actually going to give it a try with just having the one wand, but since I have to go down here, wait a second. I see that. Oops. So I'm just going to grab the materials that we need. The shards are pretty much only useful for this sort of thing, so I'm actually just going to move them up. Oh, got a little poison. Nice, 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 nice. Those are also pretty nice for research. Huh. Okay, so we got our shards. A golden nugget for if we need to make a second wand. There we go. You can hear Slimy. He's all happy and such right up above us.
The other half works.
So I already have sticks and everything up at the place.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't.
We're very, very quickly zeroing in on our recipe. So let's get the order for the wand. Air, fire, earth, and water. So air, fire, earth, and water. Air, fire, earth.
Trail.
Air, fire, air. So we're also going to need 16 Pracantatio. That's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass. I don't have... middle click brought everything back. Air, fire, earth, water. Oops, I guess I already had the earth shard. It didn't stack when it brought them back. So where's the air one? Alright, there we go. So I do think I am going to need the wand. But let's just get our Pracantatio up and running. So we're going to fill a cauldron, or a crucible, back up with water. Let's get it bubbling. Come on. You're holding things up, buddy. Come on. Come on. There we go. So I can get 6 from there. That's not really going to cut it. But I can get 2 from each of them, so I can get 18 from there. Let's take a look at this recipe. I need 16. I'll take 6 from there and 5 from here. Let's just kind of glance down here. There we go. Sploosh and sploosh. Oh. I would expect that to have lit up. Ah, there we go. Okay, so now it sees it, but I am going to need the second wand. I don't have my resultant here, even though it knows what I'm making. So let's just use our little table over here real quick, since we make these on a normal crafting table. Get our stick. Get our golden nugget. And we have least of fire. We have a ton of air. Let's put that down that way. There, we'll start our wand charging. And I actually had insufficient charge. I need 50. This will charge all the way up here. And then we'll get our spiffy kick-ass wand. So I actually had all of the squids. He has a set of the goggles that shows you aura levels and flux levels and stuff like that. And he said I built this in exactly the right spot. If you stand like over here, right here, and to the north from here, the amount of aura is like 100. If, however, you're right there, like this step downward, the aura jumps up to about 500 or so. So it jumps up hugely. But you can now see that everything's ready to go. It's giving me the amount, it's showing me all the Pracantatio in the air, the recipe is right, and you can even see where it's going to be getting the Pracantatio from. It will have these little bubbles that fly through the air like this and land into the altar. So all you do from here, take your resultant wand, it's going to empty out the crucible. Anything that wasn't used for this recipe, for instance the fire, that was in the cauldron from the blaze rods actually ends up going in the air as flux. There are ways to deal with that, and we'll get to them down the road. But for this is just the basics. All we need to do now is use our more kick-ass wand, which has 250 viz, and now we can make our boots. Yeah. So it requires 2 air shards, which we have. It's going to require 2 leather, which we also have, but we will need to make enchanted fabric. This is going to be 5 viz and arcane work table, so nothing too bad. We got that right there. We'll use our little dinky wand here. Let's get out our string and our wool. We just need two pieces of this. So 1 and 2. Ta-da! So 1 there, 1 there. Of air and air. And this is where we need a little bit of leather. Where did I put the leather? Ah. I was gonna say, I didn't think we went through all of it. So there we go. This is the recipe. You can tell you have the right recipe for the items when you see the elements and the viz amount required for it. So now we're just going to need a lot of modus, a little bit of water, some dirt, some volito, and some more of the armor stuff. So armor, 8 and 8. This will give us that. Let's grab ourselves a bucket of water. I happen to know a really close by place that has still water here. There we go. And you know what? I'll fill up the other bucket as well while we're here. Put that back down. I will eventually be getting a little ender tank over by the end, or by the crafting area here, so that we can sort this out. But I'm going to fill up that one, and I'm also going to fill up this one. This is a little handy trick that I've discovered that makes it... There we go. Tap, tap. Come on. You bubbling too, buddy? There we go. This is a handy little handy trick I have discovered, is that if it can draw off of multiples, so there's 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Come on, buddy. You got the 8 you need? There we go. Little lines are flowing in. Okay, so we'll also need 8 earth. I'm pretty sure I can get that cleanly. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just toss you in here as well. Will we see another color show up? Oh yeah, there's a little brown ones. See them? Mixing all in there? Okay, so Volito. That's where we get them from the bees. We get 2 each, I believe. We'll need 16, so 8 bees. And I'm going to chuck these into this one. There we go. Let's see our little bubbles coming in. Yeah, there we go. Nice. So the last 2, Aqua and Modus. So this time around for the Modus, I am actually going to go get the rubber. It's just too easy to use that stuff, especially in this particular instance. I just need to remember where I put it all. There we go. We'll just take a stack with us. It's just a very handy thing. There's a little bit of sugarcane for the water. And I'm actually going to go down and harvest our sugarcane fields. Kind of, you know, ending where we started. Pumpkin pie in mouth. Whee! 18, 19, I missed one. There we go. Because I had the 2 from before. That always gives me 18 pieces. Upsy daisy. Don't say upsy. Okay, so for water, we need 8. Where is it? We get 2 each out of these, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll just chuck these in here. Poorly. And now for the modus, we'll need 24, so 12 of these suckers. And I'm actually going to try something out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops. There, we did half and half. Alright, so there now we know. It will not combine from two different locations. All of the elements have to be in that one location, I guess. So it only costs us 6 rubber to figure that out. That's not too bad. Seeing if just a little bit will kick it over. Nope. There we go. Our boots of the traveler. Yay! We just released quite a bit of flux into the air. So yeah, whenever you're doing this sort of stuff, it's a good idea not to have this many people around you. Look at that, a wisp. That's what this can get you. Is the wisps are released into the atmosphere to help balance out when there's too much flux. They'll kind of be created. You can also create rainstorms and just lightning strikes that are very, very damaging. It all just depends on how much flux where and which type. Oh, there it is, there it is. On the other hand, Pillbox's house has come quite a long... Oh, crap, it's coming this way. Alright, guys, so that was the basic introduction to Thaumcraft. We are finally... Yay, look at that. Yay. Look how fast I can fly. Yeah. Look at that. That is nice. Nice. Alright guys, so I'm going to end this episode here. I'm going to play around with my boots a little bit, work on enchanting them and such, you know, replace some of the resources that we've gone through, a little bit of the blaze rods, a little bit of the ender eyes, things like that, you know, that will get me experience so I can enchant the boots here. So I hope that this answered a lot of the questions, showed you the basics and kind of how to aim into it. And I also hope it makes you not feel too bad about using the wikis. Unfortunately, I'm not a person who likes blindly just throwing stuff into an area and hoping that it will produce something useful. I like purposefully trying to research things and get them the way that I want them to go. And that is what I do with the wikis, is I figure out which item I want, I figure out the materials it needs, I gather them, I do it, it's done. That's just my playstyle. If it's not your playstyle, then by all means, do not look at those links I have in the description or that I put in the video. Just have at it and learn the elements and stuff like that. It is completely doable. It's just not a favorite pastime of mine. So, if you guys have any more questions, just let me know in the comments. We can cover any of the materials in Thaumcraft now. I'm going to do a lot more of the research offline since I've shown you guys probably about half a dozen or so recipes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 recipes, so a little bit over half a dozen. If there's any recipes you guys want me to go in specifically, I can try and do them if I haven't already, or I can at least show you them in the book and such like that, and you can see the elements and things. So feel free to let me know in the comments. Also hop in the channel, just feel free to ask if you just want to discuss something. Oh god, fire! Fire! Yeah, we will fix this. I promise we will fix this. So until next time, have a good one.